Hello everyone, I am here today for a video with Evan. We're going to do a little bit of a more educated season preview. Obviously we've had the first two races, nothing this weekend because Bahrain was canceled. So I guess maybe let's...
Japan hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, I guess we'll start there. Do we think any of the Middle Eastern races are going to happen this year? This is more of a geopolitical opinion than an F1 one, but...
Yes. I think it was notable that they didn't say the races were canceled. They just said they wouldn't go forward in April as planned.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of reasons to think this devolves into a very long-standing, mass geopolitical problem, but the chances that there are just, sporadic bombs being dropped all over the Middle East by whenever they'd be rocking up to Qatar does seem slightly low to me, just because I don't think anybody really has that high a supply of bombs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they've got to run out eventually. But no, and I'm glad they were just like, we're not doing them in April, because I'm like, no, Bahrain, not Bahrain. Please. There's 5 good...
If there's any country that would, if there's any country that will have no problem just, repurposing the, shifting around all the obligations around the Grand Prix, it is probably one of the Middle East dictatorships.
Well, yeah, that's true. And it's really more of an airspace thing. I think that's the biggest problem, is getting them all in and out. And all the crap and shit that you have to land and everything. I guess maybe the boats, you could boat it, but but obviously the people have to fly in, so it's a little bit of but no, I know, I was like, come on, we've only got 7 good tracks on the calendar, we can't lose Bahrain.
The thing is, I just don't want Vegas as a season ender. That would suck.
Oh. No.
Come on. We can't have Vegas as a potential championship. I don't think it's going to go down to Vegas, but, imagine if George Russell and Kimi Antonelli are dueling for a WDC on the streets of Vegas.
I am personally biased against Las Vegas as an entity, but it's not like Abu Dhabi's exactly the most thrilling finale either.
No, but if it was Coda, Mexico, Vegas,
yeah,
Brazil, I'd be all on board with canceling Qatar and Abu Dhabi.
Oh, Brazil should be the season ender. Oh, this is my greatest. When they made Australia the season opener, it actually pissed me off, because I was like, no, this is not what we want. We want Brazil as the season ender. Australia is objectively a worse track than Bahrain.
Yes, but counterpoint, I actually like Australia as the season opener, because you're so excited about the prospect of F1 being back
that you don't mind the time zones.
You don't mind the time zones, and 2, you're just looking for reasons to be excited. Whereas, give me Bahrain as, that 4th race on the calendar,
when you're starting to hit the doldrums.
Yeah, pick me up after what is generally a bad Japanese Grand Prix.
Maybe, hey, you never know this year. With all the freaking racing that was going on in Australia, I was like, this is awesome.
I just don't think Albert Park is that bad. I think you were biased against Albert Park because it used to be worse, and then they made it a bit easier to overtake, and you never adjusted your priors.
That's probably true. I have not. It's been fine in the last couple of years. And then there was that one time they all forgot how to drive. That was fun.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing, is that, I don't really want to waste Bahrain on a race where, 7 people
are gonna DNF, yeah.
3 cars don't start or whatever, and, give them a month to fix some reliability, so especially at the beginning of a race cycle. Bahrain will be back. The other thing is, Ramadan is also part of what happened, and
yeah,
Dan Andrews, a Labour government in Victoria, paid a bit of a premium for an opener, so...
Brazil, I will donate $150 to this cause. Please. I feel like we could crowdfund it. I feel like we could. Where is the problem? Where is Nelson Piquet Jr. in all this? That's the problem is the only living Brazilian driver is like demonic. I guess maybe Felipe Massa, so you could do that.
I mean, we do have a Brazilian on the grid.
That's true. I meant more like I didn't mean driver, I meant champion, but we could, yeah. Gabby, please. We need it. I mean,
Gabby, you are managed by Fernando Alonso's management company. Get Daddy Fernando to put up the cash.
You know he's got like $10 million laying around. Come on. I will say I did make an entire video yesterday and not even forget who he was. I forgot about the existence of Nico Hulkenberg.
I did notice that was very funny. I mean, you also did think Cadillac was outing.
I keep doing that. It's so bad. I cannot keep the two teams straight.
I mean, one of them is competent and finished in the points at least once, I think.
Yeah.
And the other is terrible. What is the point of Cadillac?
Oh, you just don't want you're America-phobic. That's what the people told me. No, they told me I was being racist because I didn't want Andretti in Formula One. That is a white man from Pennsylvania, first of all. Like, let's just make that very, very clear here. But then we pivoted to America-phobic, which, first of all, I don't think you can be phobic against a group that you belong to. Like, I am American. Like, why? Whatever. Also, you're allowed to hate Americans fully. Like, that's a completely, like, which is fine. I'm not disputing that. But since when is America-phobia a thing, first of all? But also, I wasn't even saying, like, oh, like, screw Andretti or screw Cadillac or whatever. I was simply saying, because everyone was like, oh, like, they rejected their bid, and the freaking Instagram comment warriors were constantly, anything that happened, they somehow managed to make it about them rejecting Andretti, and I'm like, they just didn't reject them. They said, you can come back when you have an engine, which, is a thing that you need to compete in Formula One.
And the funny thing is, they did actually get probably the second best engine, and they still suck.
Well, Well, that's that's the Aston Martin T of it all, because, like, they're gonna have to ditch that Honda engine. It can't even finish a race. So is Merc gonna take them back, do we think?
Why would Toto Wolff willingly bail out Adrian Newey?
Yeah, he's not going to, unless he's an idiot, which he's not, because if he was, he would have given them the engine in 2015 when they asked for it.
Of course.
I mean, money, maybe, but, like, I feel like they already have so many customer teams that, like, is that really necessary?
Yeah, how much do we think, like Mercedes powertrains or whatever the engine section, like, I can't imagine they make that much money.
I think they do make a decent chunk of change off of selling the engines, but I don't think it's enough that Mercedes corporate it's like making a dent in their bottom line. I mean, that's a massive, like, multi-billion-dollar car company, I feel like it would be a lot of money to you or me, but in terms of, like...
I also don't think, I think it's one of these situations where I don't think what you lose in prize money is going to be more than what you gain or what you could theoretically stand to lose if,
No, yeah.
If and... Adrian Newey car has the fastest engine, does not seem like that's like Toto Wolff would willingly sign himself up for.
And there's so much less of an incentive now in the cost cap era to do it, because before, theoretically speaking, right, like, that's money that you can then fold over back into your Formula One team and spend more. So it is actually helping strengthen your team by selling these engines. But now, any team that is their own manufacturer is going to be able to meet the cost cap already. So if you can already meet the cost cap, there's no net benefit to you Formula One-wise of selling those engines.
No, and I think the only reason Mercedes does it is because, one, Toto owns part of the team, and two, because Mercedes likes to swing their, proverbial around.
Right. Well, and I also think it's advertising. Like, these companies are in Formula One for advertising. Sure, they're making money if they're a good team, but again, in comparison to what like Ferrari, like Inc., right, like the whole thing makes, the money they're making on Formula One is basically nothing. You know what I mean? And there is the very real possibility that you could lose money. So this for them is mostly an advertising endeavor, right? And kind of like the love of the game of it all. So if for Mercedes, if you have all of those teams walking around with a Mercedes logo on your chest, that's just as much. Plus, it's, you know, all of those teams want a Mercedes engine. That makes it seem like Mercedes makes good engines, right? It's like perpetrating like a positive association.
It's a halo effect for the brand Mercedes.
Yes.
And like, at the end of the day,
that's what Toto cares about, because he owns a third of the company.
Right, and also just in general, like, you know, I mean, at this point, the smart thing that F1 has done is, like, they built it so that these are now essentially franchises.
Yes.
Right? With fixed, you know, with a fixed, you know, share of revenue. I mean, fixed to position, but you know what I mean? Like, it is much more the American franchise model, so even if people are losing money year to year, you know, Derillion or whoever owns, you know, who owns Williams or whoever the hell, you know, they're still going to make a lot of money selling Williams or, you know, whatever hodgepodge nonsense owns Alpine right now. Like, they're going to make a ton of money.
Okay, can we talk about Toto buying a share in Alpine, and do we think he did that specifically to prevent Christian Horner from doing so? Because I think yes.
I mean, yeah, but also, like, friends with, you know, I think he sees the Red Bull dual ownership structure and goes, they're just going to let us do this, and that's fine. You know, if Vowles is going to actually make Williams, like, a real competitive team and not just the Mercedes B team, I kind of need a Mercedes B team.
For sure. And they're in dire financial straits. He's tight with Flavio. It makes sense. I never forget when Nico Rosberg, on the air, was like, oh, they offered, I can tell you what the stakes are. They offered me one. And he's like reading out the terms of this deal on Sky Sports. I'm like, NDA's fear, Nico Rosberg.
I mean, if you never signed one, then you never signed one.
No, they just emailed him a pitch. It's like perfectly fine to be able to say, but it just killed me. I'm like, yeah, that's just so messy of him. I absolutely love. I also love how, first of all, if people out there, if you're not following Nico Rosberg's LinkedIn, what are we doing? He is blogging. He's live blogging his life. He is writing these insane essays that are, I would say that they're ChatGPT, except for like, I don't know that ChatGPT could replicate Nico Rosberg's tone like that. It's, whatever it is, it's the funniest thing of all time. And it's genuinely amazing. But they put out this thing that was like, we've reached like $500,000 in, or $500,000, $500 million in, like whatever, capital invested and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, that's great, but like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, that just means that you got people to give you $500,000, which I guess is impressive, but like, I want to know what the returns are like, Nico. Let's start putting out some numbers.
Nico Rosberg, submit yourself to audit.
I want the full audit. I do. It's based in Singapore. I looked it up. They don't have, tragically, their SEC does not make all of the documents available to the public.
Almost like that is the point of headquartering it in Singapore.
Yeah. I am like always constantly shocked that nobody else has disclosure laws like the US, and I don't know why, because I every time it happens and I just continue to be shocked, and I'm like the courts in Britain being like completely not public at all. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that one's bad, because like Britain is supposed to be a real country.
Right.
Like, that one's bad.
No, and they're like, oh well, it's to protect the victims, and I'm like, no, you can, that's why we file under Jane Doe, or like, this is explicitly to protect the rich and powerful, and putting gag orders on the entire press about even talking about the fact that there is a case, like, yeah, please, as if like, to protect victims. Oh, I'm sure that this law instituted in, like, the 1800s was really, really formulated with victims in mind.
Very much so. Do we want to compare some teammates?
Yes, let's go. So George and Kimmy, obviously, I think George is a pretty.
No. Let's go bottom of the grid up.
Okay.
Some suspense.
That's true.
Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll.
Let's be serious now. Obviously.
I mean, technically, neither of them have scored a point yet.
You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and give it a tie. Because I don't think either of them will score a point. But then it goes on place finishes, doesn't it? So, Fernando.
Yeah, probably.
Bottas. You know, that is an interesting one. Where are they?
3 seconds off the pace isn't interesting.
I mean, no. You know I don't pay attention to the back of the grid. Who won the first? Where are we currently? F1.
Bottas is ahead technically, and I don't know on what tiebreaker.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say Checo.
I mean, Checo will come like 11th at the Mexican Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Or like Baku or something. Like he'll have like one spectacular race.
Yeah.
And finish in the points.
He's really good about, like, I will say his strength is that, like, when he's in the midfield, or, like, obviously now they're like 500, they're at the very bottom of the grid, but, like, when he's handed, like, an opportunity from, like, a crazy racer, like, he always capitalizes on that, I will say.
And like he's very much like a horse. Like he is in golf, the term is like horses for courses, right? Like Checo, you get him at a Checo track.
Yeah.
You know, he was vaguely on pace. Like he was gonna borderline on a podium in his final year at Red Bull in Baku, which is one of his better tracks.
That's true.
He was, even in Mexico 23 when he was in that horror run, qualified, I think, third.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Max, which is like nothing. Like best performance basically like once the Barcelona upgrade happened. So like, Checo will put up one good result. Alex Albon is currently losing to. Should we do this by team standings or driver standings?
I guess team standings.
Okay, well, Alex Albon is losing to Carlos Sainz.
Oh, tragedy.
It's 2 points to 0. The Williams seems bad.
I believe in Alex, and I will pick Alex, although I am more stressed than I was at the beginning of the season about that pick.
I mean, they just, need to get competitive. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I mean, the car is, 28 kilos overweight.
Yeah.
And always being, the car isn't 30 kilos overweight, and then it's, turns out to be 28, is one of the funnier memes.
Yes. Honestly, incredibly relatable workplace behavior, if I'm honest. But yeah, no, James Fowles major fraud watch. They're flopping like a fish, but I do think that Alex will beat Carlos. Please. If all is right and good in the world, that will happen. Unfortunately, all is not right and good in the world, so I am a little bit nervous.
Gabriel Bortoleto is beating Nico Hülkenberg. You must be thrilled as the world's biggest Nico Hülkenberg hater.
I've toned back on my Nico Hülkenberg hate a little bit because I also don't even really know why I hate him. I just kind of remember that from my early time in Formula One. But I am rooting for Bortoleto. And I think he will beat him. Although, I don't know. Nico is also, weirdly amazing. He's the Senna of the midfield, I don't think it would translate if you popped him into a top tier team, but he will squeak out a couple P5s in there,
Yeah, I mean, he was really good last year. He got his podium finally. But, now that he's got the podium, just fuck off. I'm done with your bullshit now.
No, it does kill me when... First of all, I think this is a terrible take in general, but whenever XYZ driver should retire to, make room for other drivers to have a chance, it's always focused on, Lewis, Seb, Fernando, and never the like bot-ass Hulkenbergs of the world. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, like the champion.
We got a new team on the grid, and we got the battle of Midway going on at Cadillac, you know?
No, literally, and it's also just so funny to me because I'm like, first of all, like that's a stupid like no, like if F1 teams are notoriously harsh, like if they thought that like the other driver would do better, then like they're not keeping them on there just because they've been around, you know? But if anyone should be the subject of that discourse, it should be the people who aren't champions who have been in F1 for 10 years. Like, it's not going to happen at this point, you know? Like, Fernando has earned his place both through driving and through being a cartoon villain on the grid for as long as he wants to be there.
And also, 2023 was all the proof, not that I particularly needed any, but like if anybody had any doubts about Fernando, 2023, that, you know, 8-race stretch from the Aston's actually good should dispel a lot of those doubts.
I think but I'm so happy that Aston is bad because I'm like, listen, I was getting nervous there for a minute. I was like, can you imagine if Fernando wins a race? That would be terrible for myself personally.
The funniest outcome is Fernando retires.
And then they immediately become good.
They sign Max and Charles. And because like Toto's like, you know what, Lawrence, you have compromise on me. You can have a Mercedes engine again, and then say Charles, George, Max, three-way title fight 2027.
Oh my god, that would be so good. Oh, I need it. But unfortunately, I think that the exact thing that we were worried about with Ferrari is currently, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to Ferrari, but, stress.
Alpine is
Gasly and my...
A solid seventh. Pierre Gasly, 9 points so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously gonna be... It's obviously gonna be Pierre. Sorry to my husband.
Colton getting a points, not bad.
No, he's not doing bad. He actually is, like, doing a little bit better this season, so I'm happy for him. But
also, for your own sake, you need to become the world's biggest Pierre propagandist because...
to prop up Franco.
Yeah, because then it's like, if Pierre is just like, if Pierre is mid, then Franco is even midder than mid.
I don't think Pierre is mid. I think he's a very strong midfield driver. But I don't think...
I mean, I don't know. I actually think he's like the one driver who I think other people have pigeonholed into like just a midfield driver who, if he got another chance at a top team, could actually legitimately contend. I'm not taking races.
I think he could
get a second-year driver under helmet fucking Marco has definitive proof of fuck all.
I mean, sure, but it's not like the ones who are really great have failed to thrive under Helmut Marko. But it was the beginning of the curse. I will say, I think he could compete in I think he's like an Oscar Piastri. You know what I mean? Like, you're very good, but like when it comes to like the real top people.
Pierre Gasly would have won the WETC last year in that McLaren.
Oh yeah, he's better than both of them. I mean, they're both. I mean, you want to talk about the Battle of Midway? What we were forced to endure last season was.
And nobody could pass. Like the people who are now like revisionist historying like the Grand Defects era. Please, for the love of God, go fuck yourselves.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who watched the races last year, because people are like, yes, having a type.
So we didn't go live after China. Obviously, probably not going to go live after Japan either. But like, you know, the things that we had to drag our asses to talk about last year to find interesting about some of these races. Like, I look forward to the post-quali lives more than I look forward to the...
Literally, there was more to discuss.
Lives, because, like, you know, like, the reason you and I enjoyed, like, I loved the Hungary live last year, because we actually had something to fucking argue about.
Literally. Like...
It was like that, and when somebody crashed, those are the only two times we actually had shit to talk about.
Yeah. And when Nico...
We could at least argue about who was to blame for shit.
Right. Brazil was a good one. But even Brazil last year, if we're comparing it against other Brazils, was kind of just like, you know what I mean?
It was a fine race to watch, but it was like, most everyone 2-stopped, Max like 4-stopped.
Yeah, Max was just going through it. It was a good race compared to like the larger corpus of races because Interlagos is simply that girl. But when you compare it to other Interlagoses, I'm like, that last year was a flop season. I don't care that there was a good championship fight. That doesn't inherently on its own make a good season. The races still have to be interesting. It helps. I think if we're talking like truly great seasons of Formula One, that has to be a factor. But it doesn't make it a great season on its own, especially when the championship fight didn't involve them ever actually battling each other. The only times they battled each other, Lando Norris just drove into the back of Oscar Piastri. That was fun.
Montreal was great.
It was. I wish that they, had actually, like, the most entertaining battles were between, like, Lando and Max at, like, the beginning of the season. Like, it wasn't, I don't know. The races themselves were flop after flop after flop, to the point where, I'm so excited at the beginning of the season. It has me, like, really back engaged with Formula One. Like, toward the end of last season, I was getting nervous because I was like, I actually don't, like, I'm not even, like, looking forward to, I've done all of this stuff to, like, made videos and all this stuff, and I made all these friends, and I'm like, do I not like Formula One anymore? Like, this is a huge problem. But then, over the off season, I went back and watched 2010, and I'm like, oh no, this is just a flop season. And, like, I don't care if it's, like, false, artificial overtaking. To me, it feels a lot less artificial than the DRS zone of it all, because it, like...
At least you're getting overtakes in, like, random places.
And I get that the battery thing, people are like, oh, it's like, diminishing, like, it's gonna make it so that, like, the truly great drivers, like, can't differentiate themselves in qualifying, and I'm pro combustion engine, but in terms of the push to overtake and the aero rules, I think it's been a major improvement, and I don't think that anyone who watched, go watch, anyone who's like, this is ruined Formula One, go watch China from last year, and then watch China from this year, and tell me that it's not better. Like, you just can't. It's, objectively speaking, way more entertaining. Like, Australia. Go watch Australia from last year. Go watch any of the one-to-one comparisons of the races is night and day. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't like the battery shit either, but...
Suzuka's going to be the funniest example, because last year...
It was so bad.
The first, like, I could just legitimately go to sleep at lap 25. And do that.
I don't think there was a single overtake the whole race. There were more overtakes in Monaco last year than there were fucking in Suzuka.
Yep.
I'm still pro Fuji though.
Do you have a hot racing Bulls take? Lawson scored 6 points in China.
Yeah, Lindblad had a tough one.
Lindblad beat him in Australia.
I think it'll be Lindblad because I think he'll iron it out toward the end of the season, but this is the actual calculus that can be made about rookies. He clearly has the speed, he just fucked up. And those kind of mistakes can be ironed out over the course of getting used to it. You don't usually get past her. And I feel like my Oscar Piastri take was proven incredibly right at the end of last season.
Yeah, I think what happened is, like, it was bad.
Yeah.
No, Max is going to be Isaac. Do we need to talk about Red Bull? Max being able to... I think Max might actually be losing in the champion. No. Is he? No, it's Max. Max is winning.
No, Isaac's doing great. I'm really happy for him, but yeah, Max is going to win. It's Max.
Isaac would probably... No, what it is Isaac would probably be beating him if he did DNF in Australia through no fault of his own.
Yeah, that was...
Max DNF through no fault of his own in China. But, like, I think Max scored some sprint points or something.
Yeah.
No, did he? I don't think he did. No, because he got 6th in Australia, and that's all 8 of Max's points.
Oh. Well, yeah, it's Max.
It's Max. Red Bull does not seem like they're very good.
No.
They're currently 5th in the constructors team,
That
who is 4th, with
Haas.
only one car having scored points.
Haas.
Haas, baby.
The love of my life, my child, Ollie. I'm so proud of him. He's doing so good this season. Q3 twice.
He's great. Burns the goat.
Unfortunately, I know his fate, but for now I can be happy.
Sure. I mean, you're not excited to redo Charles Seb just inverted next year.
I don't think that Ollie has the manic energy that both Seb and Charles brought to the equation as youngins on the grid. He seems a lot more normal than both of them.
But here's the thing: get either of them interview either of them in like normal circumstances, and they're both fine, normal people.
Yeah, but
Well-adjusted-ish.
That's true. Charles Leclerc, Monaco 2019, that should have been the moment I knew I was going to be a Charles fan forever, because Ferrari massively fuck him over in qualifying. They don't send him out to do another lap. They say you're safe. Seb is like, no, I'm not. Send me the fuck back out there, because he knows not to trust them. And poor sweet baby Charles did not know yet. And so he starts P15 and he says, I'm finishing this race in the points or in the pond. And it was the pond, but he made some sick overtakes before he just fucking yeeted Nico Hulkenberg into to the wall. Rip. But, no, he was actually driving like a maniac, and he was like, I'm gonna crash, like, out of pure spite, and he did that, and we're proud of him for it. But yeah, I think Ollie will win, obviously. My child. We love Ollie.
Yeah. No, we love Ollie. It'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see how well he can do. McLaren, their cars don't work.
This is an interesting one.
He has scored points and yet not erased a single lap of a Grand Prix.
The Oscar not having yet raced this season is crazy.
Well, he raced in the sprint.
That's true.
3 points.
That's true. I think Lando will win because he outqualifies his teammate usually. But I think it could be either of them. I'm not like super confident in that prediction.
Can I just get my take off? Which they're bad.
Yeah.
And I don't really care about them, and I'm very grateful for all the LN4s to fuck off and watch an actual elite team manage their bullshit.
I mean, listen, I'm also, at least, if we're going to have to watch one car dominate, at least we don't have to watch a flop off. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm just putting it this way. Like, Mercedes 1-2, Mercedes 1-2, Mercedes 1-2. We've had 3 qualies. No, Kimi didn't end up getting back to second. Did Kimi get to second in...
I think so.
In the China sprint?
Oh, the sprint, I don't know. I have no clue.
I know he... Sprint? I have it. The F1 app, pretty good. No, Kimi got to 5th, which, given the penalty, was...
Yeah.
Got it fine. As good as he can do. That's fine. I'm not holding that against him.
No. I think you do fine. Oh, but I also do enjoy how every time there's a new top team, we have to have the same round of discourse about how this is fundamentally different and worse than the last time a driver was dominating. And it happens every single time a new comes up, and it's like the exact same discourse over and over again. And I feel like if you spend long enough in like the trenches of any fandom, like this happens, like we just have the same argument every 3 years. But I'm like, all of you are stupid. That's my main takeaway.
Ferrari. Actually, let's do Mercedes first, because I feel like Mercedes is not going to be that interesting of a conversation.
Yeah, George, duh.
George Russell is faster than Kimi Antonelli, was faster than Kimi Antonelli in basically all important moments.
Yes.
So far this season, he got screwed by a car that didn't work properly.
Yeah.
Like, I literally don't care about the kid. Like, Absolute's the GOAT.
No, I think, yeah.
Okay. Ferrari. I'm just ceding the floor to you on this one. What are your complicated emotional feelings towards the state of Ferrari right now?
First of all, I just need to stand for a moment on my take that Lewis Hamilton doesn't suck. He just doesn't fuck with slow cars. Take was correct, but I think it'll be close. Like, I think it'll be a good battle, but I think that Charles will win. I will also say, I think I am encouraged, let's say, by the fact that they appear to be letting them race it out instead of, like, this team orders bullshit. And I just want to say, like, I will always be a Charles fan. I love Charles, but, like, one thing that could not turn me off of him, like, it wouldn't make me not like him, but I would be like, I might have to shift, like, the full force of my focus elsewhere if this continues to, like, go on, because the whole, like, team orders of it all, how he would always get completely screwed when it was Carlos/Lewis's top, like, Monza last year should have told you everything, Charles. Do not go along with this. Never be helpful. Never, when it is your turn, never be willing to help, because it's not going to be reciprocated and you just look stupid. You're a bird flying into the window over and over again. How many times do you have to get screwed over on your end of it before you realize that you're the only one who's participating in this deal? You know what I mean? So, like, I don't blame Carlos and Lewis for any of those things, because why? You could clearly get away with it, so why would you not? You know what I mean? Like, why would you be helpful if you don't have to? Because your teammate is always going to be helpful no matter what you do. So, I'm like, so it doesn't seem like they've been playing that silly little game, like, of the team orders of it all. And I mean, last year with McLaren is the perfect example. Team orders, I've always said this, I think they hurt more than they help. Because unless you, with the exception of a few very specific situations, being one person is competing for the championship and the other is already well out of it, or the if, you know, when one person is about to pit, they're clearly on different tire strategies, like, it doesn't make sense to hold the other person up, sure. But if we're fighting for position, it always ends up that, and the reason I say it causes more harm than it solves, the thing that they gain is very qualitative, right? Like, there is a second, like, you can measure it in time. What you can't measure qualitatively is discord, because it always ends up that everybody just feels screwed over. You know what I mean? Like, nobody is ever happy with the way that it, like, plays out, and it can lead to situations where it's like, okay, now you actually need this person's help and they're unwilling to give, or it's just all you ever have to talk about is papaya rules, papaya rules, papaya rules. When
I mean, we saw George and Lewis, like, there were, like, 2 times that I distinctly remember where there were quote-unquote team orders, and one of them was because Lewis qualified in, like, P13 or whatever, and he was going along kind of hard, and George had already pit and was coming at him on a medium, you know? Like,
well, right, and it's like, if he hasn't pit yet, they're not fighting for position. So, like, in those are situations where, and that's the thing about the Valtteri exchange, like, I get that it's a funny meme, whatever, but most of those situations were either end of season, Valtteri Bottas is 200 points out in the championship, so it's like, okay, whatever, or, like, people that, like, get upset over the tire situations are stupid. I'm like, that makes no sense to hold the other person up when, like, even if Lewis fought and kept behind, he's gonna have to pit. So, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, I honestly think one of the things is that, like, the Ferrari's kind of fast enough that, like, there isn't a clear correct choice right now, you know? Like,
yeah.
They've been competitive, like, enough. The car is fast enough, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're clearly the second fastest car, you know? Like, let him start this one out on track.
Yes.
managing the race. It's like, that's when you start to get, like, into the problems and the issues, you know? That's when you start to get, you know, your difficulties. And I think the good thing about Ferrari is they haven't really attempted to manage any of these races this year. It's mostly just been, it's mostly just been race.
Yeah.
It's been the instruction, and
it's also like you
each other in the championship for a reason.
You think that you can like manage this incredibly complex dynamic? You can't even. Let's focus on the fundamentals here first, okay, Ferrari. Let's come up with a decent race strategy. Let's figure out the concept of a weather radar before we start moving on to more complex subjects. You know what I mean?
They handled China about as well as they could have.
No, yeah, they did. Yeah, they didn't. But like, you don't get credit for not fucking up massively. Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
But when that's the bar, yes, you do.
True. But it's like they already had one bad strategy, which I will say, in terms of like the canon of Ferrari fuck-ups, it doesn't rank that high on the list, but it was definitely still a fuck-up. It wasn't that bad of a fuck-up, but like, because at least there was a world in which it made sense. But it was...
You're more nonchalant about Australia than I am, but like, I get the point you're making.
I mean, when you're comparing it to the Hungary tires of it all, like, I think I'm just more beaten down by the concept of Ferrari than you are. I've been here a long time.
I think it's that, and I also think it's like, you are not that optimistic. Like, you're optimistic about the car, you're not that optimistic about the car, so like, I think for you...
Because I know they're going to develop it backwards. I know that that's what's going to happen. That's what always happens, so...
But I would say, I don't think you view this as them having thrown away a race when I think...
No.
I can speak for you. Georgia's always going to win that race.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they threw away a podium, but like...
I think they did.
It could have been a 2-3 instead of a 3-4, but like, it's hard for you to get that outraged about a 3-4.
Right, exactly. It's like, I gotta save my true anger for when they tell Charles Leclerc that it's gonna rain for another 30 minutes and start raining harder. And then he pits her inters and it immediately sunny skies, blue, and they're like, well, Charles made the wrong choice.
It's funny how Mercedes, George never makes the wrong choice. Lewis never made the wrong choice.
Yeah, it's almost like they were getting accurate weather information. And also, I'll say it, that is the one I really do put the tinfoil hat on, because Carlos got accurate weather information. Why are the drivers getting different weather information? Never got an answer on that one. I went through line by line of their team radio. And I posted them.
Is this a Silverstone?
Yes.
Silverstone 24?
Yes.
Right?
And I posted, I had like a lap by lap like spreadsheet comparing the two team radios that they got. And I got actual death threats on the internet because of that. And they were like, this is why we shouldn't have access to information, because people use it for evil. For evil, they said.
I mean...
So you're saying that the accurate team radios that I reported were evil.
Say reported. You're not exactly fucking Wittstein here, okay?
Well, the real reporters were sleeping on the job, let me tell you that right now. Too busy freaking Carlos Sainz state media over there at Sky Sports. They freaking... Martin Brundle, like, hates Charles Leclerc for kind of no reason.
The funny thing is, if you go back and watch 2019, he loved Charles.
Well, I don't know what happened. No, I do know what happened. He just hates... Right. He actually didn't like Charles. He just hated Seb more than him.
Why does he hate Seb?
Who knows? But I'll never fucking forget this shit. 2012. Brazil, season ender. Sebastian Vettel wins the championship. All is right in the world. Martin Brundle.
This isn't what I thought where you were gonna go with this. Keep going.
Martin Brundle. Oh, the freaking Monaco of it all. But the...
No.
Martin Brundle, Seb hugs Adrian Newey, and Martin Brundle's like, Adrian Newey is he's like, unlike most Formula One teams, and that Sebastian Vettel isn't the most important man on the team. The guy he's hugging is. Yeah, because Lewis Hamilton didn't need a fast car to win. Everybody needs a fast car to win. That's the entire point of what we're doing here, I fear. It's no hate, no shade to Lewis. That's just a fundamental truth of Formula One. What the fuck are we talking about? He started the Newey car merchant of it all. He started it. And to say that and make that statement during his celebration on the broadcast. This isn't the post when we're going back and forth and we're diving into this. No, this was they weren't on the podium because he didn't get a podium, but like they're celebrating his championship in the pit lane, and you feel the need to be a nasty little bitch. But you can also take it back to 2010 if you want. When Korea, he's like,
This is what I was waiting for. Go tell this story.
he was like, obviously as a Brit, like we're a British broadcaster, we're rooting for all of the British drivers to win. I would love for Jensen or Lewis to take it home. But, and I'm a big fan of Fernando, but like I have to say, like Mark is such a nice guy. Like I would love Mark to see it as well. So for those of us keeping track at home, he's rooting for everybody in that championship fight except for Sebastian Vettel.
That is how math works, yes. But there are 5 available options and you're rooting for 4 of them.
I would be happy if any of these 4 people won. Well, sucks to suck because you didn't get your way, you little rat. I hate him so much. But I do think he's the best broadcaster. So I want him to continue to be on Sky so that I can parasocially hate him.
I wonder who we're gonna. So with the 2 races being canceled, I wonder what that means for the broadcast schedule. I wonder if that means we maybe get
More Martin?
Well, I was more saying, like, are we gonna potentially lose like a Harry Benjamin week?
God willing. No, I'm sure it's worked out. I'm sure they're just gonna keep it the way that it is and just remove those 2 races, but I hope so. I
hate Harry Benjamin so much. He's so bad, and you just like rocking up to Austria and being like, who is this man?
There was just all of a sudden, because for those of us who, for the people watching, I was at Imola, so I missed the whole like intro of Harry Benjamin. So I just flipped on the Austria coverage and there was a random guy there. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Right. But also what bothers me about the Harry Benjamin of it all is I'm like, why aren't they doing what they're doing with the Brundle seat? Like, rotate people through, let different people have a go, see who's better, see who's worse, weight it like that. They just plucked this and people get so mad every time I say it. They're like, actually he was doing the BBC radio coverage. Sorry, I wasn't listening to the BBC radio coverage. Presumably, for viewers of Sky Sports who pay $30 a month in the UK to have Sky Sports, are not...
In fairness, you do get quite a lot for Sky Sports. You also get, like, the vast majority of English soccer. So
yeah, that's fair. But presumably, people who have access to Sky Sports are not listening on the radio. What are we even talking about? Like, he is a random person to the...
They haven't confirmed what 3 races Crofty is going to be,
missing from?
Yeah.
I wish that they would announce the lineup ahead of time. Like, who's going to be on the broadcast. It is kind of fun, though, to tune in on Thursday and see who it is, I will say.
Yeah, no, that I actually don't mind. Like, I don't need, like, the full schedule, and I frankly think they don't have the full schedule of...
No, they definitely don't. No, but I just need to know when I need to clear my weekend, because Nico Rosberg's going to be there. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. I don't think Nico Rosberg knows when Nico Rosberg is going to show up until he shows up.
Well, it's also crazy because Nico Rosberg goes to so many races that he isn't on the broadcast for. And he'll pop into, like, Sky Italy or Sky Germany for, like, a second. But, like, I think he's there for, like, business stuff. I don't fucking know. But, like, he was at... like Vegas, and he wasn't on the broadcast at all one year, and there were all these pictures of him in the club, and I was like, girl, get your ass on Sky Sports. What are we doing?
Yeah, no, so like I don't mind that, but I mean the story with Brundle, and I think this is true, but I've not ever like I don't remember exactly where I read it or heard it, but like I think the story with Brundle is he signed up to do like a race season or 16 race season, whatever he does. And, like, then F1 just kept adding races. And he was just simply like, I am going to continue to do my set number of races.
Which I respect. And I will say, the one thing, you have made this point before that I think is a very good point with Harry Benjamin, is they're kind of setting him up for failure because they always put him with a Brundle replacement as well. Like,
the only time Harry Benjamin hasn't completely sucked ass was Austria 2024. And guess what is notable about Austria 2024?
It was the only one. It's the only one he did with Brundle.
I'm pretty sure that's correct, yes.
And I think that that's unfair, both from just like a pure psychological perspective. People don't like change, right? Like anytime, and especially Crofty and Brundle had been such an institution of F1 for so long that like I think you're always people, and I see this in myself. Like whenever it is a different, like whoever they replace Crofty with, like they stood no chance in my mind, unfortunately, because like people just don't like change. So I think from that perspective, it hurts you not having Brundle. But also, just from a sheer experience, Brundle's a really fucking good broadcaster. He's been doing this for a really long time. And I think that you benefit, like all of the people that are rotating through to replace Brundle get the benefit of being with Crofty, right? And I think that it's a little bit unfair to just throw him in with another substitute. Just
because Austria 2024 is of course the George Russell win because Max and Lando don't know how to drive.
Yes. The famous Jensen Button, we should change the rules of Formula One because Lando Norris.
That was Coda. No, that was Coda.
Oh, this was Austria 24. I do remember this.
Up the hill, up the hill.
Yes.
Dive bomb.
Yeah, Max was wrong on that one, tragically.
A counterpoint to give George Russell a win and stop Lando from winning the championship, so it was actually ideal.
It was actually ideal. Ugh.
But like, Brundle basically just starts doing commentary, like full comms, like when the battle, like when they start battling, like Brundle's is talking a lot more. He's like far more engaged, you know.
Yeah.
It's like kind of painful when you're just like in stint management mode, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, Brundle's like, oh shit, I actually get shit. So I can look at a look in.
Yeah.
And he looks in, calls it pretty well, and has sort of no problem with being for Harry Benjamin what Crofty often does for your Nikas, your Jensens, your Caroons, your Anthony Davidson wasn't bad actually. I was surprised by how not bad he was.
The Nico Crofty commentary is always so funny because it's like two people that cannot stay on topic to save their lives. You need Brundle there to steer the ship, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is so funny because that's really supposed to be Crofty's job, like technically speaking, but...
Yeah, I mean, you know, Crofty talking about, you know, Lewis Hamilton maybe getting an Oscar. It's just like, I would have preferred Brundle to be there. It's just like, let's talk about George Russell's
right, but Brundle's...
Which was the interesting story of that point of the race.
No, they are kind of the perfect, like, balance for each other's skill sets. And also, I will say, maybe
How do you watch 2010? This is really the most important broadcasting question. How the fuck do you watch 2010?
It's tough. Because also, Martin Brundle, okay, for those of you who don't know, between Murray Walker and Crofty, there was this man called James Allen who was doing it. And Martin Brundle hated this motherfucker. Like, and...
It is dog doo-doo.
Listen, I just think 2010 is such a good season that it, like, overcomes it for me, but that is definitely one of the major factors in why 2012 is my preference to go back. Like, if I could only watch one season forever, it would be 2012, even though I think racing-wise, 2010 was a bit more exciting. 2012, you got Crofty in there, and it's night and day in terms of...
Like, because because it's just, like, so clear that Brundle locks back the fuck in when he kind of, like, figures out that, like, that him and Crofty kind of go freak for freak.
Yes.
You know?
No, and it is often, it's to the point where, like, I am, like, uncomfortable watching it because these two men are, like, passive-aggressively fighting on commentary. I'm like, oh my god.